Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm gonna teach you, well, I don't really know how to put it. I'm going to show you guys how I master a hero. I'm gonna show it off with Chromie. So this video I'm going to show you guys how to master a hero as well as mastering Chromie, because I'll be using that as an example. This is going to be very in-depth, so if you want to have a quick 5-minute guide, this is not your thing. Yeah, this is going very serious. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off by going over a very critical analysis of a kit. Then we'll look at the heroics. I'm gonna use those two to find out her playstyle. And then from that playstyle we first master our combos. That's not every hero has combos, of course. This is for heroes with combos. Heroes that don't have a combo, like for example Vala or you know, Tracer, something like that. You don't obviously do that. Hi cat. Alright, so let's turn off Malfurion first. Nope. Olaf, move, please, thank you. Okay. Alright, so my kit. My kit is the 3 basic abilities, the mount, and the passive. That's the basic kit, not the heroics. Can I help you? Okay, so first off we look at the mount. Chromie just has the normal mount, so not really anything that needs to be, you know, said about that. Her passive, however, is pretty good. She gets all her talent choices 2 levels earlier. So she has her level 4 talent at level 2, she has her heroic at level 8, she gets her level 20 at level 18. So this means that Chromie reaches all her power spikes 2 levels earlier. You can abuse this. If you're fighting and everyone's level 5, your team has the advantage. Of course, unless you have a variant, but usually you'd have the advantage. So this makes it, you know, Chromie has, she falls off late game because when heroes reach a power spike at level 20, Chromie had hers already at level 18. So when your team reaches level 20, you're kind of, I don't know really how to put it, like you're not really screwing yourself, but you get less of a power spike at level 20 as a team. I guess that's the only way to put it. So keep an eye out on this. It's not really game changing for Chromie, it's a nice little extra, but it doesn't really change her kit massively. So let's look really critical at her kit. First off, you have Sandblast. Sandblast, as you can see, is a long range, has a wind up, low cooldown, and pretty much no mana cost. The long range, the low cooldown, and the low mana cost should scream at you poke. That's all it should scream at you. That's true. Sunblast is your poke. However, it doesn't mean it has to always be used at long range. When I started off as Chromie, that's what I thought too. But there's quite often where I throw a point blank Sandblast. It happens quite often. Of course, that's because I know Chromie, I know her limits, I know when I can get close and when I can't. So I don't advise that to other people, but when you start off, a really good poke. Also, it's low mana cost and low cooldown means that it is okay to miss a sand bolt every once in a while. Like I missed that one, obviously. That's fine. It's fine, don't worry. It's back up right away. So what this can be used for is guiding people. Because of this long wind-up animation, the enemy team will see you cast it, and they will respond to that, assuming they're halfway decent. So you can throw, for example, Sandblast right there and a breath right there, so they walk next to it instead of walking. They either have to walk into it or they're gonna walk next to it and then walk into your breath, or they could walk into an ETC that's about to cast Mosh, or an Arthas route, something like that. You can use this to your advantage to knock people into your stuff. I got to her combo later, but it's pretty much the combo. Throw a breath and then you Sandblast. However, that's what every Chromie does. So when you do that, they know that you're gonna breath right onto them, so they're gonna move for it, hopefully. So instead, when you're up against good people, just do that. Throw a Sandblast. Well, obviously, you do the breath first, and then Sandblast next to it. So they either, you know, stand in the breath or stand in the Sandblast. It's good to have it overlap a little bit, so preferably you even hit both of them. That'd be great. But they'd at least get hit by something. So, next ability is Dragon Breath. Same long range. It has a way higher cooldown of 12 seconds, and it has a pretty average mana cost of 70. The AoE and the high damage means that it's great for wave clear, but its high cooldown says otherwise. So you want to make sure that you only use it to wave clear if you actually have to. So, and you also know that you won't be needing it. So right now I'm gonna use this to wave clear, but I'm gonna fight Arthas. Kind of wasted it. Now of course he stood in the minion wave. Normal heroes wouldn't do that, but stupid AI. So that's something to keep an eye on. General rule of thumb, you can use it to wave clear, but only if you know you're not going to need it in the next 10 seconds. So keep an eye out for that. So it's AoE and high damage screams at you AoE burst. It's also high cooldown means that you really don't want to waste it. So until you are very good at landing it, try not to waste it. Just save it for a Malfurion route. That's fine. You're better off saving it an extra 5 seconds and hitting 3 people and throwing it right away, rushing it, and missing it. It's a waste. Don't do that. Chromie is all about proper Q and W management. So you gotta, you know, do it right. That's pretty much breath. You just saw it has a pretty small radius, so it also has a short animation. One thing to note about it is that your enemies don't see white lines. Like, you see the circle, your team sees the circle, the enemies don't. It's the only skill shot that does that, basically. All the other, you know, Blizzard has a circle around it, Earthquake has a circle around it, Kill Thas, you know, has an indicator. So it's, you know, keep an eye out for that. Abuse that. If they don't see you cast it, they won't even know that it's coming. Like right now, Arthas won't even know. I mean, obviously he's an AI and he doesn't know shit anyway, but you know. And then finally, my favorite ability in the game, Time Trap. Time Trap, you put a small trap somewhere, it arms after 2 seconds, and the first hero that walks into it gets put into stasis for 2 seconds. High cooldown, and it requiring time to arm should scream at you, don't use this in fights, you should use this to prepare for fights. But that's not all. Time traps uses are limitless. Like right now, so do it right here. Time trap gives vision. Yeah, very important to note. Cursed Hollow, second tribute. Both teams are about level 8 now. After the second tribute, both teams will be about 9. And HGC and their pros and stuff, after the second tribute, both teams will take their bosses, right? However, lower they don't do that, but there they do. So what you can do is if the tribute is close to the boss, you can just drop it on the boss just like I did, where it gives you vision of the boss, but it's not actually on the boss. So like, let's say I'm the tank, I'll walk up to them, and boom, I'm put in stasis. I now know exactly where they are, because it has, you know, the time it needs to arm. Show that off real quick. Let's get him over here. It will give a little arrow, and it will ping. Look, right there, that arrow. So I now know exactly that one of them just engaged the boss. Which is very important to know. If you can abuse that, especially in lower rank, like, hey, we know they're taking boss, let's do something about it. Let's gank them while they're taking the boss. Or let's just take our own boss, play it safe. See, right there? It's not in the boss, so he has to still walk up to the boss and whack it. But, you know, you still have the sight over the boss, so in case, you know, Rainer pulls it first, you still have that sight on it. Of course, also fighting. Okay, I'm about to fight. I'm gonna throw my trap down. I'm just stand right here, right behind my trap, or right on my trap, or right in front of it. And the moment Illidan comes for me, I just walk right into it. He gets stasis, and I'm out. I'm gone. That's its main use. But like I showed with the boss, it has so many uses. Zagara Yuzma, you can throw a time trap right there. And one of those people in there will be put in stasis for an extra 2 seconds, allowing you to follow up a little bit more. Mosh, throw it on there. You want to use your temporal loop, one of your ults, you can drop a time trap right in there, and it'll be put in stasis too, giving you a little bit of an extra time to follow up, or your team a little bit extra time to follow up. You could also just put it right here in a path. You know that, for example, tribute is at the bottom lane, they're at the top, and you know that they're gonna walk this way. Yes, Aerosmith reference. They're gonna walk this way, and they're gonna be put in stasis. You know they're rotating, they're dismounted, they're gonna take a couple seconds longer. Or, you know, you could wait for them to pop it, stay in this bush, they pop it, boom, combo on them. Right there. Or, you know, have someone else follow up too and just completely kill someone. Of course, for example, this is the boss pit on the right side on Cursed Hollow. This is the boss pit. Oh crap. This is the boss pit. This is the little couple of trees with the bush. Here is where the tribute spawns with the rocks around here. If you can drop the tribute right in here, because that's where the people will walk if they want to scout it. So not up here with the top tribute, but the safe one for you if you're on the right side. You can just drop it there. Maybe even a little bit more in the bush. Just make sure it's on the path. And when they walk into it, you know that they're coming. And you can counter gank them. Or you can quickly rush the boss and finish it. That's up to how your team deals with it. That's all of those possibilities are good. So make sure you drop it real good. And that's pretty much the main difference between a good Chromie and a bad Chromie, is how they use time trap. If you're only going to use it as a defensive, you're missing out on a lot. Alright, so heroics. Let's set my level to 8, because Chromie is cool and she gets her hero faster. Alright, so you have slowing sounds and you have temporal loop. They both have completely different uses. Slowing sounds, as you can see, has a cooldown of 5 seconds, and it drains mana, so you know it's active. Drops a little swirling piece of sand, and everything in it is gradually slowed. It increases over time. Starts off at I think 30%, and it builds up to 30 over 2 or 3 seconds. This same thing. you're bossing. You know they're coming. Your trap already showed you that. Boom, just drop the sand right there with the bush, and you're good. You're fine. That's it. That's all you have to do. Or, you know, altar. Or any choke point, really. Sky Temple. Mines. Drop it right on the mine entrance or the boss pit, you know. Great for chokes. Really great for chokes. I personally prefer it over Temporal Loop. However, the problem is that this is avoidable. Like, unless you actually cast it on people, they're not gonna walk into it. They're not stupid. So, but you know, if you need the zoning, it's great. I love it. It's the same thing with Time Trap. It has endless possibilities. You can use it to slow an incoming minion wave because it only costs, you know, like fucking 20 mana if you keep it up for 4 seconds. Put it in, have them slow, have them all clump up for a nice breath, throw a breath on there and deactivate it. Simple. It also doesn't go away when you mount. It has a fairly large radius before it goes away. You can just drop it, mount up, run away, and it will stay there. And it will go away when you're about to screen away. Really good. Has, like I said, a lot of capabilities. And then you have Temporal Loop. Basically what Temporal Loop does is you mark a hero, and after 3 seconds that hero is returned to the spot. Right like that. Its main use, you can see, is to just land your combo on someone. It also helps, you know, your team follow up. Like if you have a mouth, they can throw a root down there and it'll be rooted right away. Same thing with Arthas. Any hero that has any decent follow-up that might even use some preparation, it doesn't even need it. Just even if it uses some, will greatly accept it. Its problem is, if the hero was made unstoppable or put in stasis, it doesn't go off. It has to be timed well. If you throw a cleanse right away, the cleanse only lasts a second. It's still going to go off. They need to be unstoppable the moment it throws on them. You can even throw it on someone that's unstoppable, cast it on someone that's unstoppable, I mean, and it will still go off. So, and because you get this at level 8, the enemy team should be level 7 at that point. So, very simple. You wait until the enemy healer picks cleanse. And because your heroics aren't game changing, you can even wait until they are level 10. Meaning that they are going to have to, you know, at some point pick something and then you can pick the other. Also, they'd give themselves by leaving out a talent that might even completely turn a team fight for them. It's something that you really should keep an eye out. So this is the basic kit. Long range poke, sustain, long range AoE burst, endless capabilities, and then either utility, like team-wide utility, basically a mini Mosh or a mini Arthas Frozen Tempest. Actually, no, it's not mini, it's a max Frozen Tempest, or basically a guaranteed kill on someone, but it's countered by cleanse. And stuff like Crystal Ages, Divine Palm, stuff like that. So, you gotta keep an eye on that. That's basically Chromie's kit. It's rather simple, however, because all of her stuff has a delay and a wind up, most of the skill that you need with Chromie is anticipation, intuition, and actual skill. Skill, of course, in landing your combo. Intuition in expecting or anticipating where the enemy goes, and well, and it's kind of anticipation, I guess. Something that I personally love to do is actually this. He's gonna go. Because he's a bot, he wants to turn. Normal person would go for the well. And walk this way, right to the well. Stop there and click it. Throw your combo here, you will kill them, when they've already used it well and think they're safe. Well, they're not, because of your long range. Alright. So, like I said, it's pretty simple. Just poke, throw your burst out, and do your combo. So you already saw me throw out my combo a couple times. Do it again. There. So you throw your breath first, and then you throw your Q right under there. As for following up on your stuff, you should count for a second. Like I said, a second and a half. This is a second, and this is a second and a half. But because of cooldowns and at max range, this having a travel time, you should count on a second and a half for it to land. Let's throw a couple temporal loops here. I'm not gonna follow up on them. So right now, at around 8 o'clock is when you throw your combo. Okay. Okay, so one thing to note about temporal loop is something is in the way, it will put it next to it. So doing this temporal loop combo is pretty much a real thing. Threw it down too soon. This one's too late. Yeah, if that was a Felstad or a Li Ming, they would have escaped. So like 7, 8 o'clock ish is good. As for time trap is harder because it's a 2 seconds, so you want to kind of throw it at like 3, 4 o'clock. But yeah, that's pretty much the Chromie combo. It's relatively simple to learn, simple to master. It's just following up on your stuff. So that's the combo. Alright, like I said, looks pretty simple. Now the talent builds. Chromie talent builds, they're kind of weird. There's basically 3 talent builds. The Sandbolt build, which focuses on obviously AoE, sorry, I mean poke and sustain damage. There is a breath build which focuses on AoE, very high AoE burst. That's personally my favorite. And then there's a third which focuses on Time Walker's Pursuit and Bronze Talons. Not really a fan of that, but I don't know, I'm starting to master it. It's mostly what the pros use too, for a good reason, because Bronze Talons gives you immortal objective damage over the other 2. So this makes Chromie a decent counter pick on, for example, Battle for Immortals, Punishers, some, what's it called, Tomb of the Spider Queen. It gives Chromie some more value there. So she isn't, you know, dead weight when it comes to objectives. That's why they go that build, mostly. For the damage output between all 3, it's pretty similar. It depends on the situation, although Sandblast build does do more in terms of pure hero damage because it does more poke. Whereas enveloping assault is great when you can actually follow up on a team thing like a Mosh or a Maw. And Bronze Talons is the literally one shot, one kill build. So let's go through them first. I'll start off with the Sandbolt build because it's the first one. So after hitting 25 heroes, Sandblast damage is increased by 100. It's the one that you take, obviously. Second is Piercing Sands. Sandblast hits 2 targets. It just pierces through it, and I can hit a second target with it, effectively doubling damage. Because usually you can hit the tank and then as well as one of the backlines. Just free extra damage, and assuming you're half decent, you should get at least 2/3 of the Sandblast you hit will hit a second target. Alright, then you have your third tier. This one's kind of weird. First off, you have Mobius Loop. It reduces Dragon Breath's mana cost and cooldown by 50%, but also its damage by 25. So its damage is reduced by 25, but it has half its cooldown. So you're going to do, and the 12 seconds that you usually do, you'd instead throw 2 breaths for 75% of the damage. So it's a total of 50% damage increase over time. Poking, this is great. However, it's kind of its damage that it then does is kind of lackluster. It only does 750 damage over 1,000, which is actually less than Sandblast. I used to be a fan of this, not really anymore, because Dragon's Eye is better. Dragon Breath does 25% extra damage to enemies in the center. Basically turns Dragon's Breath into a Bright Wing Q. You know, where she throws that flare that does more damage in the center. That's what this does. It's the one that we're taking. And then finally you have Chrono Sickness. Trap's cooldown and mana cost is reduced by 50%. And when they come out of the trap, they are slowed for 50% for 4 seconds. This is great and all, but you don't pick Chromie for her utility. You pick Chromie for her deleting. You pick Chromie for her poking. So any of these is better than Chrono Sickness. At this point, I'll just take Temporal Loop, just so I can, delete people a little bit more. Well, usually, like I said, it kind of depends. Do they have a cleanse? Yes. Slowing Sands. Do they have a cleanse? No. Temporal Loop. That's pretty much how simple it is. And you have the level 11 tier. Now, this is where I see the most mistakes. So usually you'd go Reaching Through Time. It just gives you a 15% extra range on your stuff, allowing you to poke for more safety. You can even altars on like the bottom, the way bottom altar. You can reach that from behind the bush that you are. It gives you around a screen range. But people are like, well, Chromie is so squishy, and when someone gets on you, you're dead. So why would I not, have my own personal escape by taking bye-bye? Well, see what happens. You're in a team fight, 5v5. Greymane jumps on you. You're scared. Oh, I gotta get out. You don't even get damage. You're gone. Now your team is fighting a 4v5. You're essentially dead without giving them the XP or the respawn timer, but you're still going all the way back to spawn. Now on smaller maps like maybe Immortals, it's not a big deal, but when you do that on Blackheart's Bay or on Tomb of the Spider Queen or Brax's, you really don't want to do that. It's really bad. Also, you have Timeout. Timeout is literally a hyper buffed ice block. You become in stasis for up to 7 seconds. You can cancel it early. Now, most heroes with ice block have some sort of survivability. Like Nazebo has his zombie walls and spiders, and he has his toads that, if he lands them in melee range, will do a lot of damage. Jaina chills enemies that come out of it. Malfurion he throws down his cooldowns and he goes in ice block and he's safe until his cooldowns come back. Chromie doesn't have any of that. So by taking Timeout, you are taking yourself out of the fight for a long time. And you can't cast Sandblast from in there, obviously. With their low cooldown means you're gonna miss out casts. That's not good. However, it does have its juices. If you tend to get close to Kael'thas and he likes to Pyroblast you, keynote Pyroblast takes about 2/3 of your health, so getting a basic attack and a Pyroblast kills you, this will save you. Zeratul, he engages on you, he smacks you, and he throws your little slow thing that explodes after, that will save you. And it also gives your team time to follow up. However, that kind of only works against, you know, those real stealthies that actually have a very good way of catching up to you. For example, Greymane or Sonya or a noob, they won't be able to reach you with max range on reaching through time. But a Zeratul, he doesn't care. He's just gonna stealth through them and to you. So, if you're not the real last pick of Chromie, and the enemy team decides, okay, yeah, we're gonna really need to deal with that, we're gonna pick a Zeratul, and the Zeratul is actively hunting you, take this. If he's not actively hunting you, or he's being spotted before he even reaches you, don't even bother with it. Just take the extra range. It will save you from their team more. It will help you poke out objectives a little bit better, a little bit safer, a little bit easier. So, usually, go for reaching through time. This is the range that it has now. Like I said, it's pretty much so it's about 2/3 of the screen. That's the range that you now have. This is more than a fully stacked hammer with what's it called, the graduating range. You can still outrange a hammer with this. Of course, that's Chromie's main thing to deal with, a hammer, but with that, that's what you need. Alright, level 14. This is another very problematic talent here for Chrome. You have 3 choices, 2 of them are Sandblast things. So first off, fast forward. If you hit a long range sand bolt, right there, right here in the middle, right where the minions are, its cooldown, Sandblast cooldown is reduced. So if you need to go for a pure poke build, I don't have cooldowns on, so this is the actual cooldown. This is called going the shotgun build. This is the Chromie shotgun build. It gives you immense sustained damage. It gives you immense poking. If they think they can take an altar while under fire from an artillery Chromie like this, they're not gonna survive. Unless they actually manage to catch you, they're gonna die or back out. That's their only choices. It's also fine if you don't proc this all the time. It also procs off the second one. It doesn't give you the double benefits, but if you hit one and that's a melee and one that's at max range, you will still get the reduced cooldown. It doesn't have to be the very first target. So, really good. It's not the best talent though. It's great on shredding a Dragon Knight or a Guardian Terra though, because of its long cooldown, they have a long health, and they generally don't care about dodging your stuff. Oh, they can't even really when you're just shooting at them like this. So very good for dealing with a player controlled vehicle. However, otherwise, I wouldn't go for it, honestly. This used to be my favorite build before Breath, but I don't know, like, I feel that Chromie's burst is too high for you to focus on the poke that this does. But yeah, I don't know. So there's 2 other talents remaining. Both of them increase your spell power. One of them is completely worthless, honestly, and the other is great. It's free damage. So, Quantum Overdrive, 30-second cooldown, 10-second duration, gives you 20% spell power. Sounds good, right? For 10 seconds, you deal 20% more damage on a relatively low cooldown. Yeah, Pretty nice. But then you read the other one. Hitting an enemy hero with Sandblast give Chromie 8% spell damage, stacking up to 5 times, so 40. Also, it doesn't have a cooldown. So right here you have the choice. 20% for 10 seconds on a 30-second cooldown, or pretty much permanently 40%. For some reason, people still take Quantum Overdrive. I really don't understand why people take it. Like, it's only justifiable when you actually, you know, for a temporal loop and you open with it so you don't have any of the shifting sand stacks. But, you know, why take 20% when you can get 40%? Why get it on a cooldown when you can get it pretty much permanently? It's a huge trap. When people, like, all 3 of the builds are pretty good. Usually I really don't care what they take. I usually throw out some tits, but when I see someone take Quantum Overdrive, I just facepalm. That's all I can do. It is really not worth taking. So there's a little thing down here that shows you the stacks, and it's cooldown. It lasts for it lasts 5 seconds, so 2 Sandblasts, you can miss 1 Sandblast and recast it again, and you will still remain a buff, it won't go away. Boom. Just like that. Easy. So yeah, please, shifting sands, just do it. It's better than fast forward because it also affects Dragon Breath and Dragon's Eye. Let me stack up real quick so I can show how much damage it does with Dragon's Eye. There, now it's 1,000 damage. 1,100. Almost 1,200. Okay, so 5 stacks. 1,250 at level 20. Boom. Almost 2k from a Dragon's Eye. And you want to take a mere 20% when you can get 40%? Please, don't do that. Don't do that. Alright, so level 18. All 4 of these talents honestly are good. They're all situationally good, but they're good. They can have value. So Pocket of Time, it reduces, it removes Slowing Sands mana cost, so it costs 4 per second, and it has none. And it increases its slow from 60 to 80%. So it's just free slowing. If you are getting a lot of value out of it, if you are having, you know, almost 100% uptime on it, if the enemy is greatly hindered by the zoning that it does, and it actually got you several tributes, this can very well win you a game. Very well. Then you have Loophole. Can't show this off here. Kind of sucks. But basically it turns Temporal Loop into an AoE. If the enemy team likes stacking up, throw a Loophole in one of them, and pretty much the small radius like this, all the heroes around them will also be teleported. It's pretty much an entire breath range. Not this one, but the one with the extra radius. So if you're going for a breath build, they are stacking up, you have some good AoE to follow up on it, you can use this and get a team wipe. Pretty easy. So it's really good. I like it. I take it maybe 20% of the time. It's not the greatest. Then you have Underhaul Anomaly. Time Trap now gets 2 extra charges, so 3 charges in total, and all of the charges are refunded when the cooldown goes over. If they have an Illidan or a Greymane that really likes you, he really wants to get into your pants, you can just make a fortress of Time Traps around you. Why is it? Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't even know it has like... now Illidan wants to hunt in me. Good luck. Huh, you want to dive on me? Nope. Man, nope. Yeah, no, not gonna happen. And you can just keep on dropping them. You can only have 3 of them up at a time though, but anyone's chasing you, just run and drop charges. It's really good if you are being focused really hard. However, it offers no damage. Chromie is pure damage, so that's why I'm not a big fan of this one. And honestly, I've never even really took it. So I finally have past and future me. When you cast Sandbolt, it leaves a sand clone of yourself. It will cast Sandbolt towards your cursor too, regardless of the range, regardless of where you're standing. So you can do this. Shit, I died. I am back in spawn, but my clone is still there. Boom. It's an untalented version. It only does 40% of its actual damage. But in a sustained team fight, that's 40% extra damage. That's, you know. It's just 40% free damage on your sand bolts. It's just, like I said, it's free damage. It's good. Can't get countered. There's no, downside to taking this. So if you ever, if you don't know what to take at level 20, just take past and future me. It's just good. Just free damage. Now, about shifting sands real quick, and piercing sands. If you hit 2 heroes, you do get 2 stacks of shifting sands. So you can get 16% per sand blast instead of the 8. That makes it even more valuable. That's why I started using that over fast forward. It's because it ramps up your burst a little bit faster. But basically, sand blast build. A lot of poke, a lot of sustained damage. People don't think that Chromie is sustained damage. Well, I mean, this kind of proves otherwise. I will sustain anything out of them. A Vala can't out-sustain this. A Rainer can't out-sustain this. Soul Jin? Maybe, with, needs that 1 health. Maybe. Remember, this is the poke build, not the burst build. Also, I don't have the quest, so otherwise I'd be doing another extra 100 damage. So, that's the poke build. Alright. Now, breath build. So first off, you take the quest, deep breathing. Every time breath hits a hero, its damage is increased by 2, up to 50. Not a whole lot, not noticeable. But when you finish it, it gets an extra 150% extra damage. But the best part of it, your sight range is increased by 100%. Go stand to the siege giant. So right now I can siege right here to the dummy. Now I can see all the way up here. Alright. This is great. Once you get used to this, it's very hard to play without it, because this extra range, it is so much. Like, look, it's all the way up here. It's really good. That's, to me, is the main strength of it. Of course, the extra 200 damage is good too, obviously. Alright, level 2, you take enveloping assault. It increases the radius of breath by 25%, so now it's this much. It's a lot easier to land right now. It's a lot easier to hit more heroes with this. It's just amazing when you're going for a breath build. It's just really good. Now, here you want to take Mobius, you want to take Dragon's Eye too, because you already do the extra damage from deep breathing, and its inner circle is also a little bit bigger. Only slightly, it's hardly noticeable, but it's there. It's bigger. Trust me. trust me. It's okay. So, extra damage right there. You could take Mobius Loop, I guess, if you really want to poke, but I'd say that's a bad idea. Take the extra damage. Here, again, same thing, although slowing sands could be better. Because they're going to be kind of stacking up on that automatically, because they all want to run out, they all want to go in the same direction, so they're gonna stack up whether they want it or not. So slowing sands is really good for breath build, for sure. Of course, you buff your burst damage, so temporal loop is just as good. Again, just take whatever either you want or whatever, you know, if they have a cleanse or not. They're both justifiable. They're both good. You're not gonna get flame for taking any of the other. Same thing here, reaching through time. Obviously here you want the spell damage, because you're not going, you're not gonna care about the extra cooldown reduction on Sound Blast, because you're not focusing on the Sound Blast. You don't care what the Sound Blast does. Get it to 5 stacks, see how much damage it does with the eye. Don't run, don't run. So with the eye, it does 2.2k damage. I have 3.4. If I were to play against an enemy Chromie, he has a fully stacked shifting stance and deep breathing. One breath would take 2/3 of my health without thinking. That's how great breath burst is. Also, the extra radius and the extra damage means that you will be killing all minions pretty instantly. So this is burst build, but it's also way better for wave clear. Not for single target, but for wave clear. As for this, because Past Our Future Me is the Untalented, you're gonna get the same benefit from going the Sandblast build. So it's just as good, but loophole, same thing. If you can loophole 3 heroes, land a Dragon's Eye on all 3 heroes, they're pretty much forced to back out. They can't stay in there much longer because they're, you know, half health even as a tank. So keep that in mind. Oh, there's one thing I want to show off real quick for the Sand Bolts build. So fast forward, Past and Future Me, okay? No, I did the quest, did the talent instead of the quest. Alright, so complete quest. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Hold on. So your clone casts it the second you cast it. So if the cooldown is reduced by Sandblast, so is your clone's cooldown. Actually, you should count as a hero, right? Yeah. So as you see, the clone follows me right away. So for the shotgun build, you don't really get the value until Past and Future Me. If you're going for the fast forward, you really aim for the late game poking, which kind of sucks because poking at level 20 is not really a thing. So, alright, now the third build. So you take Time Walker's Pursuit. Time Walker's Pursuit, it gives you a sight thing. It also reveals stealthies. And every globe that you gather increases Chromie's mana regen by 1. No, yeah, so yeah, 0.1. Up to 1.5. So 15 globes. Once you have those 15 globes, your ability power, your spell damage is increased by 5%. Just permanent, free, 5% spell damage. Then you take Bronze Talents. Bronze Talents, it buffs your next auto attack by, what is it, 250? Yeah, 250%, as well as increasing its range. Let's... Oh, your attack range is increased just passively. I thought it was just on that one. So it gives you a little bit more attack range. See, the thing is, I don't like this build because Chromie's auto attacks are worthless unless they are buffed. So you want to Sandblast, and boom. They hurt. They hurt a lot. I just saw that was almost 600 damage. It's a lot. But you are closer. Being this close is harder to reach when you're this close. I mean, easier to reach when you're that close. So you do get more value, but you have to be a lot closer to the enemy team. So that's why I'm not a big fan of it. You are forcing yourself to use Chromie's weakness. However, you are, you know, increasing your strength too, but yeah, so I'm not a big fan of this, although I am learning it and I'm getting better with it. I'm getting some pretty decent value off it, but yeah, I don't know. So then you take Dragon's Eye for the extra damage. You need to pretty much take Loop, because right now you are going for the one shot. Reach Scripture Time as always, Shifting Sands as always, and then Past of Future Me pretty much as always. Now, let me show it off. Give me a little bit of a squishier here. Doesn't have to be too squishy. Yeah, let's do Grammy. Let's wait for him to get here. So that's pretty much what your combo now is. You have to follow it up though with the auto attack, and like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Usually they also take the Quantum Overdrive because you are, you know, focusing more on getting that initial burst, that catch. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. I think the breath build is better, but the pros do use it for a good reason. And that reason is solely Immortals and Tomb of the Spider Queen. That's pretty much the reason why. However, the thing is, yeah, I don't really know how to put it in words. Like I said, it's decent. It gives you a little bit more of a sustained, I guess. It also gives you damage from different sources, so you don't have to rely on actually landing that Sandblast because you don't miss auto attacks. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, not the biggest fan of this build. Personally, I prefer the breath build, but I see why they use. Hold on, turn on my fan. It's hot. Ugh. Oh, that's better. Oh yeah. All right, so talent builds. Now that we have seen those, and I have given a little bit of a reasoning why I took those talents. Here are a couple things that you can use to identify bad talents. Now, of course, there's a lot of guides out there that will show you what they think is the best talent. However, mastering a hero is not about reading a guide. I'm sorry, but it's not. Mastering a hero is about experimenting, finding your thing, finding the best thing that works for you, in your comp, in your map, not what some guy on the internet said. Yes, I suppose that includes me. So, kind of hard to show it on here, and go to a different hero. Let's see, one that has, you know, bad talents, good talents, situational talents. Let's see, heroes. Samuro. Samuro is a good example for this. So, at level 1, you have these talents. You have these two, both increase your auto attack damage. This one just gives you a little bit of a buff to wind walk. It increases movement speed. So these, Way of the Illusion, gives you more normal white auto attacks. I mean higher auto attacks. However, it requires your illusions to do so. Every pretty much ranked game has at least one hero with heavy AI. AoE, I mean, sorry, not AI. So, you're not going to get a whole lot of value off your clones until later game, when you can actually avoid all of that. So this is a bad talent. It's inherently a bad talent. It looks good, you know, free extra 20 damage, but you're not going to be able to even decently stack it until maybe level 13 or 16. Because AoE is just going to destroy your clones. So, Wave of the Blade is better. Yeah, every hero has at least 2 utility tiers, sometimes even 3, with 2 defensive tiers and 1 utility. Samuro has 1 utility tier and 1 defensive utility tier. So at level 4, you have Mirror Image. Mirage, I mean. Whenever you use your Mirror Image, you and your clones have a spell shield. Of course, this is obviously useless if they don't have any AoE, if they don't have any mages. So don't take this if they don't have mages, obviously. These talent tiers, don't ever follow these off of a guide. Use what's best for the situation. If they have 3 mages, yes, take Mirage. If they have 3 auto attackers, why take Mirage when they have no spell damage? Better off getting one with the wind. While your stealth, you have 60 armor. Of course, your stealth breaks 1 second after, so it's not that great. It's inherently pretty bad unless you take this, which increased the unrevealable duration for 2.5 seconds. So take Deflection. When your passive is up after you hit a hero, you have 25 physical armor. So this is going to reduce much more damage than Mirage or One with the Wind against a team with 3 auto attackers. But 3 mages, Mirages is. See where I'm going at? So deceptively bad talents. Phantom Pain. Critical strikes do an additional 40% damage per clone that's active. Like I said, your clones are maybe going to be active for 1 critical strike if you're lucky. So you're going to get 1 out of maybe 10, maybe 2 out of 10 of your critical strikes are going to be empowered by this. Looks great, you know, 80% extra damage. Whoa, that's amazing. But when are you gonna have your clones up? Inherently bad talent. Unless, of course, you go Illusion Master, but that's a very different cookie. Crushing Blow, your critical strike has 2 charges and deals 25% extra damage. That's good, an extra charge is an extra auto attack reset. But Burning Blade does an additional 65% more damage. And you really don't need that second charge with that. Like, you already have plenty of cooldown of critical strikes. But this also makes it AoE, which is Samuro's weakness, Wave Clear. This gives him Wave Clear. Much stronger. Mirrored Steel, attacks reduce mirror image cooldown. Who cares about mirror images? Only if you're going for Illusion Master, but even then, your illusion should live long enough because you're actually controlling them. You're leading them out of, you know, a flame strike and stuff like that. So, why? Don't even bother with this inherently bad. Harsh winds. Harsh winds is alright. Wind Strider. Reduces Windwalk's cooldown by 6 seconds. Well, you're going to use Windwalk to either initiate or run out. And having it on, what, 7-second cooldown really isn't going to change much. Like, even going for a Windwalk build, you're not going to get that much value. And Windwalk build isn't even good. So, you see where I'm going at? Try to find which talents are inherently bad and recognize them, find them. And then look at what talents either buff your weakness or skyrocket your strength. Look for that. Don't fall for trap talents like that. Taratanus is a pretty good example of that. He has some good things. Psionic Synergy. Increases blade dashes duration. Oh no, wait, that one's good. That's a good one. Shield battery, that's a bad one. Your passive recharges 50% faster while your shield's active, and your shield's duration is increased by 1 second. This looks good, right? I mean, your shield lasts for what? 4 seconds? 5 seconds? Yeah, 5 seconds. And that makes it 6 seconds. So when it's active, you know, it's gonna recharge 50% extra. So going to give you another 3 seconds extra. So during those 6 seconds, it's going to reduce its cooldown by 9 seconds. However, you should know that your shield is going to be destroyed in a matter of 1 or 2 seconds. So there's this recharge. Why even bother with that extra second cooldown reduction when you can either get this one, which heavily reduces the cooldown, or this, which just massively increases your shield. That's just great. Another thing, Templar Zeal. Blade Dash cooldown recharges 150% faster while below 50% health. This used to be the best talent in his entire talent choice before the nerf, but now it's not that great. Its damage isn't that great. The other talents that you needed for this talent to actually get value got nerfed too, so it's just not good anymore. It's not worth it. Plasma Burn, same thing. While Shield Overload is active, you get the Fire Cloak thing. Well, like I said, your shield is going to be active for 2 seconds, so it's going to do 100 damage. Whoa. 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 Stellar Charge increases the charge distance 100%. You already have so much initiated with your combo and stuff. Why even bother with this? You already have a small charge that's usually enough. It's a bad talent. It's bad. Starting to realize what talents are good and which ones are bad. Rexar. Pretty much one of my favorite ones to show off for this, actually. Let's see, which one is it? Yes, this one. Slow to 50% to 3 seconds. When it already is 30 for 2. That extra 20% slow for an extra second isn't going to make much of a difference. This one increases the range. If it hits an enemy hero, it's cool. Some of its mana and its cooldown is reduced. Well, it's bad. It's a bad thing. Like, it's 140 damage. Ooh. I guess there's some talents that make it better, but they're not worth it. Wildfire Bear. Misha deals 28 damage per second. Well, as good as this is, the moment Misha dies, which she will eventually, you're useless without it. I mean, I guess same thing goes for Dire Beast, but Dire Beast has so much more damage. Like this, you're gonna get maybe 600 damage. Get value of it, maybe 1,000, maybe even 2k if they're all stacking up on Misha. But it's not that much. Whereas this will increase its damage by a total of 600 every charge. Why would you even bother with this? This one's alright. Yeah, these ones are pretty decent. Johanna. Righteous Smash. Punish restores 10 mana per enemy hit. Yeah, be nice. If Johanna had a mana problem. She doesn't. Condemns cooldown is reduced by 0.75 for each enemy affected. You're not gonna get value in the minion wave. But you're a tank, you're not the specialist, so why even bother with that? These are pretty decent. Burning Rage is actually decent on Johanna because you can better control where you are. Also, it's some free damage to a hero that has no damage, so Johanna pretty much needs it to get the damage. But here's the same thing. Punish slows 80 over 3 seconds instead of, what, 60 over 2. So another 2% for 1 second. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And it decays too, so. Fanaticism. While Iron Skin is active, she gains 8% movement speed each time she takes damage. You're gonna get maybe. You don't really need that movement speed in the first place because both your heroics are good initiates. But this is maybe useless for running. But as a tank, you should be the last one to run. Your team should get out first, so you're probably just gonna die anyway. You're better off taking any of the other talents. So I kind of understand now what good talents are and what bad talents are. That's pretty much key to finding out, to mastering a hero. You can read up a guide, and you can do a combo, but that doesn't mean you master the hero. You need to have, first off, the practice to actually land your skill shots. You need to dream. You need to inherently know what and when to take what talents. And you need to be able to land your combos. But I mean, like I said, that comes with practice. But it also comes with knowing your class, knowing your hero, knowing its reduction, knowing what the general public responds. Like, for example, Kerrigan combo. Usually when you dive in as a Kerrigan, they do one of two things. They either focus you and burn you and delete you, or they will try to run away from you. You need to know what they're going to do depending on who they play and what they've been showing all game to even land your combo. There's no point in putting the combo half the thing away from you when they're just staying on you, attacking you. Don't even waste your combo, just throw your stun. This is what mastering a hero is. Not always relying on your combo, knowing what ability to use when. Like for example, with Chromie, you don't always do your combo. Sometimes you just want a breath. When someone is capping an altar and people are defending, just throw your breath on them. Don't even bother with a combo, because if there's someone defending them while you are effectively stunned casting your Sound Blast, you are going to get caught and you are going to die. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So a quick recap. First off, critically analyze the abilities, find its strengths, find its weaknesses, what's it best used for. And take a good look at the heroics. Every heroic has its utility, even Rainer's Raiders has its usage. Hyperion is usually better, sure. But when the enemy team has a Morales and you don't have any dive, Rainer's Raiders will destroy that Morales, or at least distract it. Then take a good look at the talents, find a build, find what talents are the real situational ones, like these ones, and know what talents is better for every situation. Then you want to practice your combo. You want to at least know your combo, so you're not always going to use it, but you should be able to use your combo whenever you can. Like for example on Dragonshire, you know they're taking a siege camp, they're in range, just throw your combo. You don't even need to see them, you just need to kind of guess where they are and just throw it over there, and if you were right, they actually are taking the combo and they are where they are. I mean, they are taking the camp and they are where you think they are. You are going to get a lot of value. You might even steal that camp from them because you were able to land a combo. But don't rely on it. Big thing, don't rely on it. And make sure that outside of a combo you understand the playstyle. Like for example in the Zebo, he's a lot of poke too. People don't seem to realize that. But with your spiders you can poke a lot. Plague of Toads is great for forcing enemies to move. And Zombie Wall is just great for, you know, getting a pick. Know that you can combo the Zombie Walls and the spiders and the toads. But know you can also use them single, just by itself, just for those usages. Well, that's pretty much how I master heroes. Critically, very critically, I always do read a guide about every hero before I even start it, just so I know what I'm getting myself into, so I get a good idea. And then I kind of compare it, like, yeah, this part of the guide is right, and like, why is this? Why does the guy say this when it's not really like this? And then I read it again, and maybe there's some part of it that I misunderstood or didn't read, or maybe the guide is just wrong. Guides are wrong. Yeah. Mind blown. And with that, I leave you. Well, this was an hour-long video, a little bit longer than I was expecting, but hopefully it's educational for you guys. Hopefully this will let you guys, yeah, learn new heroes, maybe a little bit faster. Like I said, it is a long and arduous process. It's not just a 3-game, play it 2 games, yep, I'm now mastered. No, mastering takes time, takes games, takes practice. But this way you can at least, you know, guide it in a, you know, guide it towards it instead of just randomly going at it. It's always better to attack something with a plan than to just randomly do it. So, there you have it. Take care and have a good one.